The new chapter, that data handling. So here in our daily life we come across many situations where we need to deal with the data to get some information. So here are some examples I have taken in our daily life. A runs made by a batsman in last 10 matches. How many runs he scored? A batsman, Sachin, in last 10 one-day matches. What is the runs scored by him? Or Rahul Dravid, how many runs he scored in last 10 days? Like that. So we need to find out the data to compare them, to find out some information. A number of wickets taken by bowler in last 10 one-day internationals. So how many wickets he has taken in 10 one-day internationals. So that also decides what type of bowler is. To get some information we need to collect the data. Now marks scored by the student of your class in a mathematics unit test. Scored by the students, all the students, how many marks they scored. To compare that I need to collect the data. I need to collect the marks and record it so that I get information whether they are scoring better or not. So number of story books read by each of your friends. How many are having the reading habits? How many are not at all reading? To find out we need to collect the information about how many are reading the books. So to get some information we need to deal with or we need to play with a certain data. So this, what is that information that we collected in the previous examples? In such situations, whatever the information that we collect, in all these cases that is called as data. The information that we gather, in all the cases it is called as data. So as we are in this chapter, we are going to only learn with the data handling only. We are going to deal with only the data collection and getting information and making analysis of the data that we collected. So in all the 4 examples what I explained, all related to data only, data collection. Now so data can be represented in the class, lower classes, 7th standard and all, you learned how to draw the pictograph, how to draw the bar graph or double graph, bar graph. In class 7th itself you learned. So you have represented this data in the graphically. Okay, what is the use of that representing the data in the form of bar graph or pictograph? It is very easy. You will have a clear idea and you will get very easily you can understand. You can understand very easily. So let us recall once again what you learnt in 7th class. What is pictograph, bar graph, double bar graph. I will show you some one example for each one. So now look at this pictograph. This is what you studied. So pictorial representation of data using symbols. You can use any symbol of your choice. So here I am using this symbol. This is one symbol represents 100 cars. If I draw this diagram, that you should understand it is equal to 100 cars. Now look at this in July, maybe selling of cars. So we have 2.5 diagrams here. 2 cars and half car. What is the sale of this cars? 250. So this, by looking itself you can very easily understand. Now look at this, August. 300. September. So now look at this. Suppose by looking this, I will ask some questions. How many cars were produced in the factory, are sold in a factory in the month of July? If I ask, you will say very easily 250 by looking the diagram. Or in which month the maximum number of cars purchased? September. So that you can easily at one glance itself you can compare the data here. No need of seeing individually data numbers and all. Look at the diagram, immediately you come to know in which month it is list, in which month it is. That is the advantage of this. This is called as a data representation in the form of picture, pictorial representation. So now the second type you studied bar graph. This is also very easy to understand by looking the data itself. So you can understand what is this data says. So what is this bar graph? A display of information using bars. Bar means this rectangle. We are displaying the data in the form of rectangular bars. And with the equal width. Width should be same for every bar. And height depends on the value that you are, corresponding value that you have taken here. If the value is less, height is less. If the value is more, the height is more. So this bar graph I have taken one simple example. See, here it is given number of students here and year. Year is given. So look at this. What is this? In which, what is the information given by the bar graph? Number of students in class 8th, it is given. Number of students in class 8th. In the year 2003-4, number of students were 100. In the year 4-5, academic year, the number of students were 200. In the year 5-6, it is 250. In the year 2006 and 2007, it is 300. In the year 2007 and 8, it is 350. This is the total strength of the class 8th given. Number of students in the class. Okay. In which year is the increase in the number of students maximum? In which year it is increased? 7 to 8. The number of students is maximum here. Another way also you can ask where it is increasing more. See, it was 100 here, then it becomes 200. How much increase is there? 100. From year to year, 200 to 250, how much? 50. Here, 250 to 350. Here, last one. Then which year it increases more? 2004 and 5, 7, there is 100 increase here. Every year it is increased by only 50, here it is 100 is there. So therefore this year increase is more. But maximum number of students, in which year the maximum students are present in class? That you have to read the question properly. There is, in which year there is a maximum increase, that you have to tell 4, 5. In which year the maximum number of students were enrolled, that is 2007 and 8. Okay. So this information you will get very easily. You can compare the number of students. So the least number of students are present in 3, 4. The maximum students are present in 2007, 8. It is easy to understand. This is second type you studied in class 7. Then third type, do you remember double bar graph? Have you heard? So in class 7, this is actually 2 bars will be there for the same data. Now look at this, showing 2 sets of data simultaneously. Simultaneously we represent the data side by side. So it is easy to compare. It is used for comparison of data. So now look at this one example I have taken. So this yellow color represents the data of 2005 and 6. And this red color represents the data of 2006-7. Here subjects are mentioned. Here the marks mentioned. So look at this. Mathematics in the year 2005-6 only 30 marks. In the year 2006 and red color 6-7. Remember, it is 60. So there is increase in the marks. 5-6 in the year 5-6 it was less. 6-7 increase. Here this is the marks of social science. It was 50, then it became 55. This in the science, it was 45, then it became 50. And the English, it was 50, then it became 45. And Hindi, it is same. It is same in both the years. Now what is that shows? So there is a good improvement in mathematics. There is an improvement, good improvement. Remember that highest improvement is there. Here little improvement is there. Here also you can see little improvement. But there is a downfall here, decrease in the subject English. Here there is no change in Hindi. So by comparing this, where you are improving, where you are not improving, and where there is a stagnation, no change in the performance, that you can analyze by looking the graph. If you write the numbers, you have to take some time to understand the data. But if you represent the data like this, you can very easily compare the data or the information between 2 years. Is it clear? This is how it is helpful, double bar graph. So this also, it's a previous year you have studied. Now, once you collect the data, I told now runs scored by a batsman, maybe Tendulkar, Dravid, Kohli, Virat Kohli, or somebody, you collect all the runs scored by in 10 matches. Then you enter in a table. Whatever that you collect, it is only a raw data. Whatever directly you collect, marks runs scored by Sachin, runs scored by Rahul Dravid, runs scored by Dhoni, you will collect the data. So that is called as a raw data. Or marks obtained by the class 8 students, I will keep entering in the register. That is called as a raw data. Data available to us in an unorganized form. No arrangement, organization will proper organization or increasing or decreasing order or name wise, alphabetical order. All these things will not be there. Directly you will ask the student, what is your marks? Your marks, randomly you will collect the information. Such data is called as a raw data. So there is no arrangement here. No properly enter. Ask the student and enter the marks. So without any rule, you will collect the data that is called as raw data. Okay. So to understand the raw data, you have to organize the data. You have to arrange them according to some rule. So that organization of data to get a meaningful information. If you organize the data, you should get a meaningful information. For example, I collect the marks of class 8 students in unit test 1, in particularly in mathematics subject. I'll ask every student and collect the data. It is randomly arranged there. Then afterwards, I'll arrange that in the increasing order. Who has taken the lowest marks, I will write first. Then who has taken the highest marks, I will write at the end. Then I will get a clear idea who is performing better and who is not performing at all better. So that understanding is possible to get a meaningful information. So that is required. Or otherwise I want to arrange the data in the alphabetical order. Roll number 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 30 and then arrange. Then it is easy to find out who has scored. Easy to identify the students' marks. If you arrange the data according to the names in the alphabetical order. That is another way. According to the marks also you can arrange. Who has taken the highest marks, then according to the marks you arrange. To get a meaningful information, we need to organize the data. That is called as organization of data. That is a very important step. Raw data directly you will collect. Then to get the clear information, to better understanding, we need to organize the data. I will take one example and I will show you how it is organized here. Now look at this. This is the data which is organized here. Now collected here. We have collected here to find out. We asked the students of their favorite subject. See, some students were asked what is your favorite subject. Then 7 students they told art subject. See, when you are asking, you will write down a tally mark. Ask a student if he says art, you will draw one line. Another student say mathematics, draw a line in front of that one. Then ask somebody English, you write in front of that one. Keep writing. For every 5th one, you will cross it. So if you write one after the other in a straight line, then it will be again another burden to count the tally marks. We call these lines as tally mark. If you arrange like this, after 4, 5th one like this. So after 4, 5th one. Okay, like that you are every 5 has one group. Then easily you can tell. See, 5 plus 7. Here it is only 5. This is 5 plus 1, 6. This is only 4. So now this is the data that we collected. So a group of students were asked here to find out their favorite subject. By looking the data now you can tell me which is the most favorite subject here. It is art subject. Which is the subject least liked by them? English. Okay. So mathematics and science, it is in between 5, 6. So most likely subject is art. So therefore this is giving a clear information. Why this subject is not liked by you, why this subject is very interesting like that. So you can make an analysis over this. Then look at this, the number of tallies that I have written there, that lines we draw, that shows the number of students who like that subject. So how many lines you have drawn, that shows that the number of students that like that subject. Here 7 lines, 7 students. So that is what I have written. Number of tallies represents the number of students who likes that subject. And it is called as frequency. The number of, this is called as frequency. 7 is the frequency. 5 is the frequency. 6 is frequency. 4 is frequency. That number is frequency, we call that as. Frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. So that means when I ask art, how many times art is appearing? Say a group of students are sitting, I am asking what is your subject, what is your liking subject, what is your liking subject. Then the heart appears 7 times. In a group of students where the students are sitting, a teacher asks, what is your favorite subject? This art like that 7 students repeats. So therefore art occurs 7 times. So at the same time mathematics 5 times comes in the group. 5 students will tell mathematics. English, only 4 students will tell. Oh, English like that. 4 students will come. So that how many times that entry occurs, that is called as frequency. So English appears 4 times, therefore it is its frequency. How many times this English appearing? How many times science appearing? 6. This 6 represents how many times science came in that group. How many times mathematics came there. How many times art they told. So that is called as a frequency. So how many times that particular entry occurs, that is called as frequency. Are you following me? Then we will go to the next one, grouping of data. Next important step, organization is over. Then we are going to group the data. What is that grouping of data? The raw data that you collected can be presented systematically through a grouped frequency distribution. Grouping only here, grouped frequency distribution. Frequency table you are going to make. So that table is called as frequency distribution table. So after collecting the data, see, look at this, it's a raw data now. Here, marks out of 50 obtained by 60 students in mathematics. This is the marks taken by 60 students in a test. See, he collected 60 students' marks. Can you get any information from this? Can you draw some information from this? Is it easy to find out this is called as raw data. We call this as raw data. This is called as raw data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Raw data we collected. Now what I will do after this raw data collection, so I am going to make a table like this. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, grouping. How many students for 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. I am going to find out the data. Now, how to collect this one? So I am going to do like this. I am going to encircle here. Say 21. 21 lies here. Where it lies 21? In this group. Draw a line. Then this, we encircle this so that we should not repeat this one. Then 10. Round off this one. Again, we should not do 10. 10 where you will write here. I have to write. See, 10 will come. 0 to 10, 10 to 20. 0 to 10 means 10 is not included here. 10 here also there, here also you are finding 10. So where you should include the 10? 10 should be in this group only, not in the first group. 0 to 10, that means 10 is not included. 10 to 20, 20 is not included. 20 to 30, 30 not included there. So like that, okay. Then 30. In the where you will write either here or here. 30 to 40 or 20 to 30? 30 to 40. Then that is also 22. 22 will come here, the second one. Then 33. 33 here. Okay. 5 in the first group class. Then 37 here. Then 12 this group. Then 25 like this. 42 here, 40 to 50. Okay. Then 50, 39 together all right. 15 and 39. 15 here, 39 here. Then another group. 26, 32. 26 32 here. Either you can draw like this or like this. Okay. So then third one 18, 27. So 18 here. 27. Sorry, 27 here, 18 here. Okay. 27 here, 18 here. Then no problem. 28, 19. 28 in this group. 19 in this group. Okay. Then 29, 35. 29 here. Then 35 here. Then 31 here. Same way. 24, 36. 24, 36. 24, 36. Okay, then 18, 20. 18 year, 20 year. Then 38 and 22. 38 year, 22 again year. Fifth one you have to cross it. 44, 16. 44 year, 16 year. Then 24, 10. 24 year, 10. 0 to 10. 10 will come the second one. 10 to 20. 27. 27 in this group. Then again 39 and 28. 39 and 28 year. Okay. Then 49 and 29. 49 and 29. Okay. Then 32 and 23. 32, 23. Fifth one. So then 31 and 21. 31, 21. So 34, 22. 34, 22. Then 23, same group. So then again 36, 24. 36, 24. So then 36, 33. 36, 33. Same group. 36 and 33 same group. 47, 48. 47, 48 same group. Fifth one like this. 50, where it comes? 50. The last group. 50.
Sir, 50 to 60.
39. 39.
Sir, 30 to 40.
30 to 40. Here. Then 20. There.
Sir,
Fifth one.
20
Okay.
to 30.
7 in the first group. 60 in the second group. Okay, then we read as 36, 45, 36 year, 45 year. Okay. So 36 over 45 year, 47, 30. So we'll round off this 47 and 30. 47,
Between 40 to 50.
30. Okay. So then 22 and 17. 22 year and 17 year. Fifth one. So this is the data that we collected. Look at this. Now you can easily write the number. What is the frequency here now? What is the frequency here now? How many times this is appearing? 2. This is 10. 2 not this one?
Sir, 21.
21. This one?
21. Sir, 19.
19. This one?
Sir, 7.
This one? 1. So now look at this data. When you add all this, you should get 60.
60.
You should get 60 because there are 60 students. So this is called as arranging the data in the form of frequency distribution table. This is called as frequency distribution table. Okay. So how many students? We have grouped the data. 0 to 10 we have 2 students, 22. So this gives a very clear idea. A good scoring out of 50 scored, maximum 50 marks only. One student has scored 50 out of 50, and there are 2 students who scored less than 10. So you can find out the students who are not studying. Say average students 20 to 30. There are very good number of students are scoring 20 to 30. Very less number of students scoring the full out of out marks. So then, see, this data helps us to understand the class, who is scoring, how many students, how the class it is. The good class with highest 50s are there means you can calculate good. If more number of students are there less than 10 means it is not a good class. Like that we can conclude by looking at the data. This is called as grouping of the data. Okay. In this grouping,
Excuse me, sir. Sir, what is the difference between frequency distribution table and group frequency distribution table?
See here, the difference between this and the previous one, what you are asking. Say, look at this. Here, you are asking the information. Previous one, I will go back to this one. Particular subject, how many times it is appearing? The same only. Here, the subject you are taking, there the marks you are taking. Both are frequency distribution table only. Frequency distribution table only. So here, art, how many times it is appearing? Mathematics, here individual subjects you are taking. But in this case, what you have done? Marks, you have grouped this one. So you are taking, grouped this one. This is the 0 to 10. Here not individual marks is not repeating. Their subject, particular subject. Suppose particular subject means in case here 0 to 10, any student can score 0 also. We do not know which students have scored 0, which student, whether 9 or 1 or 2. Out of 0 to 10, you might have scored 0, 1, 2, any one of these numbers. We are not sure about this one. Okay. Suppose instead of this, I can write another one also. 0, how many students scored? 1, how many students scored? 2, how many students scored? Like that also you can write. The previous one and this one is that only. Their individual subject is mentioned or individual marks also can be mentioned in that. But in this case, grouping means, so it is, they are taking a range 0 to 10. So it can be any number. Both may be 0 also or both may be 9 also. Exact number we are not taking in this case, grouping. But even then it gives a clear idea. So at least I can find above 50, you can find it 1, 40 to 50. The range gives you quality of the class also. Okay, so that understanding only. When the data is very large, we cannot take the individual. This is useful if the data is very large. Okay, if you make 0 to 50, individually 0 how many scored, 1 how many scored, it will become very lengthy. In such cases what we do, we compress this one. 0 to 10 we take, 20 to 20. So for the entire India you want to find out, so this type of easy. Okay, so grouping is easy when the data is very large. So now each groups, see 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, such groups we made now, it is called as class interval. Remember the word, these groups are called as class intervals. We made this as class intervals. So next one. Here, as I told, 10 to 20 is one class interval. This 10 belongs to this group. Okay, not 0 to 10. The 10 belongs to only to this group, not to 0 to 10. So 20 belongs to 20 to 30, not 0 to 12, 10 to 20. 10 to 20 also one group will be there. As I already told, 20 belongs to this one. 30 will not be here in this group. This number 30 will not be there in that group. Okay. So in this case, in any class interval, see 30 to 40 if I take, this 30 is called as a lower limit. We call this as lower limit. And this 40 is called as upper limit. We say by name lower limit. Here you can look at this. These are all lower limits. In this class interval 0 is lower limit. In this class interval 10 is lower limit. Here it is 20, 30, 40, 50. They are lower limits. Upper limits in this class interval 10. Here 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Upper limits. Okay, lower limit and upper limit. And if you find the difference between this upper limit and lower limit, what do you get? You will get the size of the class. The difference between the lower limit and the upper limit. So look at this. 10 minus 0. Difference between the lower limit and the upper limit. It is the size. How many entries are there? See 0 to 9. How many are there? 10 entries. 10 to 20, how many entries will be there? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Only 20 will not be there. 10 will be there. If you find the difference, you will get the how many entries will be there. 10 minus 20 minus 10. 10. What is that 10? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Total 10 entries will be there. Here 20 to 30. Difference, what is the difference? 30 minus 20. What is the answer? 10 only. What is that 10? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Not 30. Okay. So that difference gives you the size of the class. Or it is also called as width of the class interval. We say either size of the class interval or width of the class interval. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear? Size of the class interval or width of the class interval. So I think we'll stop today. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the next topic. Okay.